Here's the answer to question 6 in worksheet 2. So the question talks about how only 2/3 of Aucklanders have confidence in the residential buildings. So that's going from our table A. So they're looking at Aucklanders. Okay, so we're just looking at those Aucklanders, and it's talking about the residential buildings. All right, so that means we're just interested in the 64%. Okay, that's what we're looking at, is that 64%. Now from Aucklanders, there are 125 that were in this category, so that is going to be our sample size. Okay, so what kind of claim have we got? So we're talking about just a single sample size, so we've either the first or the second one. And are we doing a comparison? No, we're just looking at the residential. So that means we're just talking about this first category. All right, so in terms of our margin of error, we want to use the formula 1 over square root of n, and that's our first step. So we know our sample size. We're just talking about the Aucklanders, and how many were there? There was 125. Oh, so 125 Aucklanders. So our margin of error is 1 over the square root of 125, which if I put that in my calculator will give me 0.0894. Multiply that by 100, and that gives us 8.94%. Okay, so done that, calculate the margin of error. Now I want to find that confidence interval. So I want to do the percentage plus or minus the confidence interval. Okay, so my confidence interval is the percentage plus or minus that margin of error. So what level percentage have we got? 64%. So that is going to be 64% plus or minus 8.94%. And then I split that up into 64 take away 8.94 and 64 minus 8.94. Oh, plus, sorry. And that gives me an interval of 55.06% and 72.94%. So in terms of a number line, if I say, well, there's 50%, we're talking about above that. We're going from 55.06 up to 72.94. So there is my confidence interval. And that's, remember, based on the sample, using the sample to estimate the population. Okay, so for all Auckland residents, how much confidence they have in residential buildings. Okay, so I need to interpret this. So I can say between 55.06% and 72.94% of all, so it's population, we're referring to all Auckland residents, have confidence in residential buildings. Okay, then the next piece is looking at the judgment. So does that confidence interval capture the claim? So it's talked about 2/3 of Aucklanders. So we need to look at our confidence interval and say, well, where is 2/3? So 2/3 as a decimal, percentage is 66.67%. So that is going to be somewhere here, around about there. So is that inside my confidence interval? Yes, it is. Therefore, I agree with the claim. So as 66.67% is inside the confidence interval, I agree with the claim. And there we are.